I apologize. My computer had overnight updated, and it put some things where it wasn't supposed to be. That was not a figment of your imagination. I did have a camera for Fort Rembert, but Fort Rembert is not here. He shall return next week.
Yeah, he'll be back next week.
As far as we know.
He's out gallivanting on the beach,
He might decide
right?
to live at the coast or something.
He might.
Who knows? Glad to have you with us here on a Friday morning. Still hot, 74 degrees. Going to be 1,000,005 today. Humidity at 300%.
And
Don't
cooling off this weekend.
Couple days. You get 2 days. Yeah, you get 2 days. Let's see. We got a guest coming on this morning.
We do. Wilson Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Played his high school baseball at Hickory High. Clemson grad. Played baseball at Clemson. Going to comment on Clemson's new baseball coach. And today's the start of the College World Series. Will played.
And I've looked every night trying to find baseball, thinking it's tonight. It's tonight. Well, it's tonight.
It's tonight.
Yeah. Because there was nothing on TV.
Well,
put it that way.
They crowned the NBA champion last night. Does Steph Curry got the MVP? Does he go down as one of the all-time greats?
They say that's all he was missing.
So he can be compared to Michael Jordan?
Yes.
He's got 4 championships
I want
now?
to say he would become like a top 10 player of all time.
Probably top 10.
Because that was the only thing missing from his resume. And the talk was he really should have gotten it before now. But I think there was no way anybody could deny him on this, on what he accomplished.
Yeah, I flipped it on last night. The Celtics had an early lead. It was like 12-2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Flipped it off, came back, and Golden State had about a 20-point lead.
Richie, good morning. Milton,
led at halftime by like 30 or 20 or something. And I said, it's over. And I heard today that Steph's going to have a major announcement. He's going to be at Davidson, his alma mater, today at 2 o'clock for a major announcement. Over under a gift of $10 million or higher.
Oh, I thought he was going to go up there and announce he was buying the Hornets.
Oh, well, that might be it too.
There was always said they would like to get Steph to come and play a year or so for the Hornets, but he would only do that once he knows he's getting ready to go out. But I don't know why he would ever do that.
I don't think he will, but I would guess he's going to make a major gift towards his alma mater.
Well, they already give a bunch of money.
Well, he's got some announcement today.
There's some naming rights.
Yeah.
That he's already on at Davidson. I don't remember exactly.
Well, he's going to do something else today. Maybe he's going to announce his mom and dad are getting back together.
I didn't know they were separate.
Oh, yeah.
I missed that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Richie said opening day in Omaha. College World Series hasn't been kind to the ACC in recent years. Wake won in 57. Virginia won in 15. Other than that, nada.
Well, Florida State hasn't won it either. They've been there, but they have not won it.
I was looking at Clemson.
Miami, were they in the ACC when?
If they won it, they must not have been in the ACC at that time. I was going back. We were talking. Clemson has only had, until this announcement, this will only be their 4th baseball coach since 1958.
That's amazing.
Bill Willem was the baseball coach from 58 to 93. Jack Leggett from 94 to 15. They both had a .683 winning percentage. The difference is they both had World Series appearances, 6 each.
Mm-hmm.
Leggett had 8 wins. Wilhelm had 4 wins in the College World Series. And the reason Monty Lee, he's got a winning percentage of .669, but he's never made it to the World Series in 6 years, basically. He was there from 16 through 22.
And this year, I don't even think they even made the regionals.
They made regionals. They didn't make supers. Didn't they make the regionals?
Don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, I stand corrected.
I don't think so. I mean, I may be wrong, and I'm easily wrong.
And that maybe why he's out the door.
I think that's why. Maybe we'll ask Will. He'll know.
Mm-hmm.
He has a good connection with the new coach, and he'll talk about that as well and some other things. What's it like to go to the College World Series? That's a bucket list item for a lot of people. And we still don't have
if I want to go out there and sweat. David Lilly's out there.
Yeah.
He was anticipating ECU being there, but came up just a little bit short, but he was going anyway. He's one of those. And I don't think that's his first trip to Omaha. I want to say he's been there before. But, yep, he's out there.
And Baker Mayfield's still a Cleveland Brown.
For today.
And
so is Jadeveon Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a new contract. Don't get that one. The headline is Jadeveon Clowney re-signed with Cleveland so he could play against Deshaun Watson in practice. Right?
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
No.
I mean, when I saw that,
that's a dumb headline.
No, so he could play again, not against. I added some letters. Again with Deshaun Watson.
Oh. That's still a stupid headline.
I have never, and I'm sorry, and you can beat me up over this if you'd like, and it has nothing to do with him being a chicken, other than when he first got to college and his high school career, I've never been impressed with Jadeveon Clowney because he couldn't stay on the field.
He's shown flashes.
A specimen. The potential was there, and you thought when he came out of high school and went to Columbia, he was going to be a beast. And then the last year he didn't even play, right? Didn't he sit out the last year?
I think so, yeah, if I can recall. He's had a up-and-down career in the pros. And
when he's on, he's good.
Yeah, when he's on. And I paired with the other defensive.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett on the other side. That forms a pretty impressive duo to rush the quarterback.
They finished with 9 sacks, ranked in the top 4 in the NFL in pass rush win rate.
I'll take that. I will take, though, the Steelers' pass rush of T.J. Watt and Alonzo Highsmith.
Mm-hmm.
Not Alonzo Highsmith, the Highsmith kid from
out of
Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's over there on the pylon.
Yeah. Alonzo is the guy that played at the U back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I'll take that because they're younger than Garrett and Clowney for sure.
Clowney was considering the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons. That's where he was considering going. He only got a one-year contract.
Yeah. And there's some other guys still out there if the Panthers are willing to go. And Carlos Dunlap is there, Ndamukong Suh. A couple of guys, name guys in the NFL.
They have no clue what they need to do.
Well, they need to find a quarterback.
Richie said Clemson did not make postseason.
Okay.
And that's why Monty got the axe.
I'm sure.
And Richie said he didn't know that Clemson's new coach got his start under Leggett. He said it didn't make a lot of sense then, but when this opening came up, he was ready to jump at it.
Well, there is again, we talked before we went on the air, there's a family connection there. There's a lot of tentacles for Clemson baseball. This guy, Dakich, he was a volunteer coach at Clemson for 1 year and then went to Vanderbilt when Tim Corbin, who was an assistant at Clemson, he took the head job at Vanderbilt. And so there's a lot of connections there. You've got to wonder, why would they go after somebody from Michigan to take the job at Clemson? He's successful.
Michigan, he was Michigan's head coach.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
If I would say, here again, the environment's one thing, just the weather, But the other side of it, I think he understands that the commitment that Clemson will make in baseball and the recruiting track record of getting kids to come to Clemson and play because of their track record, that he felt like it was a better opportunity to be successful.
He coached here. He went to East Carolina, got a graduate degree from East Carolina, so he knows the area for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the recruiting coordinator at Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's one of the top programs in the country, still is. So, yeah, it made all the sense in the world. I think he's going to be if not the highest, one of the highest paid college baseball coaches in the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll that does not surprise me. Have a legacy of baseball there, and I think it's awesome. He was head coach at, let's see, he's been at Michigan 10 years. Took him to the 2019 College World Series. He was a head coach at Maryland from 10 to 12, an assistant at Vanderbilt from 3 to 9, and the 1-year volunteer assistant coach at Clemson in 2002. Contract that runs through the 27-28 years, so that's a 6-year contract. Pay him $850,000 the first year with a raise of $50,000 a year until it reaches 1.1 in the last year of the deal. And he also received a $400,000 signing bonus he'll get in the first 30 days. There's a retention bonus if he's employed by the university at the end of June in 27. He'll earn a $250,000 bonus to be paid on or before that date if he's still there. And my guess would be there are some incentives there for postseason play, conference championships, World Series appearances, all of those type things.
Mm-hmm.
When he was at Maryland, he led the Terrapins to a 32-24 record, a 15-win improvement from his first season at College Park.
And that's when they were in the ACC.
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When he was recruiting coordinator for the Commodores, he signed some of the nation's top recruits, including number 1 overall draft pick David Price. All 7 of his recruiting classes were ranked in the top 25, including the top-rated class in 2005 and the number 2 class in 2008.
There you go.
Yeah.
He did recruit our guest coming up, Will Boyd.
Yeah.
When he was at Vanderbilt, and Will turned him down and said, I'm going to go to Clemson instead.
Yep. He played at San Jose, California City College for 2 years, then transferred to ECU, and that was under Keith LeClaire, whom Leggett had coached when LeClaire played at Western.
Yes.
That's the connection there. And the Pirates won back-to-back CAA titles, number 1 seeds in the regionals both years, was named to the 99 Baton Rouge Regional All-Tournament team. He was an outfielder that hit .315 with 14 home runs and 85 RBIs in 2 seasons. And then he played professionally for 2 years in multiple independent leagues.
He has got the resume.
Yes. Yep. Jack Leggett said Eric is the right fit for Clemson baseball. His work ethic, enthusiasm, energy, coaching experience, love for Clemson, and his association with and appreciation of our storied and proud tradition are traits that will lead to success. I'm excited about the future of Clemson baseball.
Was this a coincidence that you wore your shirt today?
No, it just was on the end of the closet. There's no rhyme and reason to what I wear, I can assure you. He has 2 boys and a daughter and a wife. His wife is Jiffy.
Jiffy, huh?
His sons are Colt and Bo, and his daughter is Tempe. So that's awesome. I think that's a good move for Clemson. And it's one of those programs, like others, you've got a very short leash to continue what would be considered the norm. Yeah, he was a volunteer under Leggett. I'm going to say this, and then and then I'll take a break. Steven said, I believe he was 2019 National Coach of the Year while at Maryland. Or, no, it'd be Michigan. He was at Michigan. Richie said he got paid in hot dogs and Coke when he was at the field. When the sun came up and left when the sun went down, he still wanted to set his alarm every night to be back at the field the next day. Previous Clemson baseball coach. I'm gonna draw one relationship here just so I can kind of set you off on a Friday. The thing that I can't get past with Mike Tomlin. This guy was successful at Clemson, but not to the level that Clemson was associated with or comfortable with from postseason play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Mike Tomlin's very successful as a coach, regular season coach, but just hadn't – and I still say his Super Bowl came from
Cowers players.
From Cowers players. So and they've had the same GM, right?
Yeah.
That GM was there when Cowher was there, correct?
Same quarterback too.
20 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This
is a whole different proving ground for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is. I totally agree with you there. They haven't made they haven't won a playoff game in 6 years, 6 or 7 years, and they've had some good talent that should have advanced on into the playoffs. You're right.
That's been my and the Panthers are a train wreck, so I can't say anything there. They've been a train wreck for many years. Steelers is still – my heart still bleeds black and gold. And it just it's a little bit of a letdown for me because, I've told you before, would you take those mediocre years for 5 years if you make a Super Bowl run the 6th year? Or would you take those mediocre years for 8 years as long as you made a run and played in the Super Bowl?
Well, there were a couple of years there where they had their star players got hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, whatnot, and they ran up against the Patriots one year in the championship without
when
Bell.
I come back,
okay,
let me give you my thoughts on that.
On what?
Can I? On the whole injury thing and all those kind of things. Let me give you a few thoughts. Let me take a break.
You got it.
I'm on a roll today.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times.
Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
I'm going to get up on my high horse here for just a couple minutes, and then we'll get Will Boyd on. I'll give you my thoughts, and I was ranting at Juju here.
Yes, you were.
While we were off the air. Bill Klein said Bill Wilhelm was a brother to Hoyt Wilhelm, the Major League Knuckleball pitcher.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Let me go on my rant here for just a minute. I told Juju, and I'll be glad to explain it to you. The NFL is slowly evolving and getting a different perspective on things. I think San Francisco under John Lynch is one of the good ones, and some of these other younger GMs, but for so many years, it's been I've got 150-year-old men sitting around with big old long cigars saying, well, you know, when my daddy started this franchise back right before the Civil War, it worked then. I don't see any reason why it won't work now. You've got owners and GMs that are afraid to get rid of players that can't stay on the field because they're scared to death they'll go somewhere else. I realize that the NFL takes a very, very specific athlete to be successful. I get that. I'm just not convinced that there's not talent coming out that within 1 or 2 years time frame can't be equally as good as an aging player that can't stay on the field. The biggest attribute to me for any athlete in any sport is availability. Mm-hmm. I don't care how great you are. If I got a hangnail, you know, I got a turf toe, you know, I got a tweak in my hammy, got a little tightness in my calf, I can't go. You're useless to the franchise. You're useless to your team.
Well, there was a day in history in the NFL where there was the competition, and you knew if you sat out, you might lose your job. It's not with more and more of guaranteed contracts kind of slipping in, easing in, more guaranteed money coming in.
I have no problem with guaranteed contracts as long as they're only 1 or 2 years.
Yeah. And I think some teams are doing that.
I'm completely good with that.
I think some teams are doing that. They're
Marty
signing
always
guys.
told me that it was hard to try to rebuild and replace. I'm not believing it. I'm sorry. You got what? How many travel? 53? No, 53 on the roster you pay. But you don't travel. You travel less than 50, I think, or dress less than 50.
I thought it was in the 50s, and then they got like a 15-man taxi squad now.
Okay,
up from like 10 or 7.
I'm just not convinced when I look at, you know, Alabamas and Georgias and Clemsons and Notre Dames and Michigans. There's not more programs out there that's got some players that can play.
The talent, yes. And I think when you get to the NFL, now that we're seeing with all this off-season workouts, there's just not enough time to develop guys, chemistry-wise, and work them into the program, learn the nuances of the plays.
You me tell you one of the greatest things that and I like it in baseball. I like it in hockey. You've got minor leagues that you can switch out. One of the greatest things that the Hurricanes have, their AAA franchise is the Checkers in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. You can play for the Checkers tonight, play with the Hurricanes tomorrow night. You just ride up the road.
Yeah.
You don't have that in the NFL. You got this limited number, and I don't think there's a league makes any more money than the NFL does. So I get confused on why this is so hard, other than we've always done it this way.
And we have no competition.
If you had some players that were just itching to get up to the next show, just like AAA baseball players or AAA hockey players, knowing that I can be called up tomorrow and I'm practicing and I'm going. The problem now with the NFL is there's not enough competition.
Well, when you look
spots.
when you look at the offseason, they're allowed to have, I think, 90 guys on their roster. Mm-hmm. So these mini camps that they're having, off-season workouts, they got 90 guys, and they got to get 30 or 35, a lot of them rookies and free agents and whatnot, get them up to speed on the playbook, offense and defense, all of that. And they got, 10 days, 15 days to do all that, to evaluate, get rid of players. We're going to keep this guy because he runs fast, jumps high, and whatnot. He may not understand the playbook. And I think it puts an onus on these guys, the evaluators for teams. How do you know who's good and who's the best?
To me, I think it makes you apprehensive to pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm. That's why you see so many guys that are hungry. They go from one team to the other. They jump around. They've been cut by 2 or 3 teams, and all of a sudden they get a real honest-to-goodness opportunity, and they flourish somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you a good example. James Harrison, the guy who played for the Steelers, was cut by the Steelers once or twice, cut by the Ravens once or twice, undrafted out of the MAC, and he ended up being the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, had the great play in the Super Bowl. There are many players like that. More and more you find out each and every year.
Richie said, I feel like the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Clemsons do develop, but they also go find the right kid to fit into their system. NFL doesn't do that. They go after the best player available, even if they don't need them. I have always said that was a stupid draft philosophy. And there again, the problem is so many of the NFL franchises are afraid if I don't do this, they're too worried about, will this guy come back and haunt me? I would be filling out my roster with what I needed to win.
Well, and there are more and more players now that play more than one position. Guys that play safety, can play inside linebacker, can be a rush in, play on the special teams. And if you look at guys now, do you see very many of the 350-pound linemen anymore? Guys are slimmed down more than they've ever been.
You have to. Yeah,
so it's all about speed now.
Yeah. Let me take a quick break, and I'll get Will Boyd on. We'll talk some Clemson baseball right after this.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. We'll go ahead and head straight over to our phones and bring our next guest on, Will Boyd, local product. Definitely bleed orange, don't you, Will? Will, have I got you? Will, do I have you? I'm not getting it for some reason. Wait a minute. How about now, Will?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, helps if I push the right button, don't it?
To answer your first question, Josh, I believe tiger blood out of my body.
Yeah, that's me. I bleed orange. We were talking about before we went on, you've got the previous coach just small percentage points away from what Wilhelm and Leggett accomplished in their tenures. The problem did not continue the postseason play and success. And Clemson's one of those baseball products a lot of people don't realize, but I would say at one time when I was down there, soccer was the number 2, but I would think that baseball is probably the number 2 behind football now.
Yeah, and so that's I was actually talking to my wife, who I love, beautiful wife. Clemson, in my opinion, is known for their baseball tradition.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few schools out there I was talking about, like Wichita State is one of them. Pepperdine's another one of them. People don't know Wichita, they may know, but like Clemson, a lot of people don't know where Clemson is, but you got to understand the tradition, and it's good that we're getting back to that level, I think, as far as baseball goes. I think we made the right hire.
Hey, Will, this is Juju. Thanks for joining us this morning. You have a nice story to tell. You know a lot about the new coach, Eric Bakich, taking over the Clemson job from your days coming out and being from a high school player, and he was recruiting you, right? Talk about that a little bit.
So Eric Bakich, who is the new Clemson coach, he was a volley at Clemson. He recruited me. He left Clemson to go with Tim Corbin. Corbs is what we call him. And, that's before Vanderbilt was put on the map. But Eric Bakich, he recruited me to come there. And I didn't know anything about Vanderbilt at the time. I was a Clemson guy. But he recruited me there with Tim. And I just decided to pick Clemson. Just, as I said, my blood bleeds orange.
Why do you think Clemson made the move to get him? Was it? Do you think they had it? Maybe the wheels got rolling, the things got involved really, because it seemed like they made the move, and then all of a sudden they hired him, and it didn't take too long. Do you think the wheels were turning ahead of time a little bit?
I believe that the Clemson faithful, people that understand the baseball program and what it's about, have been talking about his name for a long time. We believe in him. He's part of the 4 guys, the core 4, as I call it. And it's great to have him back. I think we made the right hire. We could have gone out and got some other guys, but I think Eric Bakich was the highest paid baseball coach in the country. And so we decided to pony up and get our guy.
When you look at it, Will, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes from an agent standpoint. A lot of folks say, even it's probably more publicized with football coaches when they start talking about speculation of going to another job. Agents are always behind the scenes working. And I told Juju before we went on the air, not that he didn't do a great job at Michigan, but the actual environment of being outside in baseball in Michigan and outside in baseball at Clemson is a totally different thing. And I think he understands the commitment of the university into the program. Plus, I think he understands the ability to get recruits to want to come and play for a program like Clemson.
That's exactly right. So one of the things you got to look at him for, you give me cold chills right now, by the way. He took Michigan to Omaha. When's the last time Michigan went to Omaha? No offense, Michigan's a very proud program. I believe in them as well. Great school, university. They ponied up for him and they paid him. But he can do that with I honestly believe that, you talk about baseball programs. Clemson can recruit not a better athlete, just higher ranked athletes.
Well,
But with
Clemson
Eric Bauer-
Clemson has the ability. Clemson has the ability to have players more interested in coming to a program like that than some of the others.
And I appreciate you helping me out with my words right there. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But what he did, he took a team, from Michigan to go to Omaha. And that's a big deal. And we're looking for the same thing. And I put an article out there. 13 years, actually 12 years, since we've been back to Omaha. And as a Tiger fan, I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to Jack. I've talked to everybody. We're all excited. What I say is the boys are back in town.
The College World Series, Omaha starts tonight or today. You played in the College World Series. Give us a story or two from a player's perspective. What is it like? Is that something that, very few sporting events, you have the Super Bowl, it's a one-day thing. You have a World Series game, one-day thing. But the College World Series, 7 or 8 days, that's got to be one of the top sporting events in the country.
So when I played in Omaha, we were there. We lost. We got beat twice before, making the national title game. But I was there for 2 weeks. So, it becomes a long event, and where everybody stays. It depends on how you're ranked, where they put you in hotels at. But I remember just when we were there, it rained. It rained so much. They had to reschedule basically the whole tournament. But I played there the last year that Rosenblatt was Johnny Rosenblatt. Last year that it was there. And the biggest thing I can tell anybody about it is you play at all these other stadiums, you go to all these colleges, but you'll never, ever experience it until you get there. The field is so big. The outfield is so big. It's different types of grass that you're typically used to playing on. And, man, it's just the stands. So talk about the crowds and all that. It's playing in front of 25,000 people. It's a big deal. Big deal.
It is a big deal. For a lot of those kids, that'll be the only chance that they'll play before a crowd that big.
Mm-hmm. In college baseball.
Yeah, college baseball, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the things, I guess we get used to playing. I think about the other place I played was Mississippi State. And it was the largest crowd before South Carolina built their stadium. But 14,500 people, I think it was, ringing cowbells. And but that was the biggest crowd I played in before that. But, as an athlete, you get used to playing in front of people.
Wow.
So what do you look for? We're talking to Will, but what do you look for Clemson? I don't think it's really a turnaround. I don't think that's where they're at from that standpoint. But I would say I could see Clemson at least getting a postseason appearance next year.
Yeah, I expected them to have one this year. So what I think is going to happen is, I was talking to some Clemson people down in Rock Hill yesterday, and they were asking me, is he going to use the transfer portal? I don't know, but no. What I believe, he's going to have to build a culture there.
Yeah.
Rebuild the culture that we used to have, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but that's what we're looking for.
Well, and I think, and as we said, I think what's going to make the difference is, I think you're going to see it from a player standpoint. When you talk about kids that play baseball, you one of the few sports that you have the opportunity that you can go straight to the league and go up through that climb, or you can go into college and play. And I think the kids that are committed to coming to college versus going ahead and turning pro, they're wanting the top kids, if they're going to give up that opportunity of going on into the minors, they're looking for an opportunity to be with a program that can possibly get them a World Series.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think that's what kind of Clemson's, no offense, swung and missed the last 10 years is you can recruit the top 150 kids but a lot of times they're going to sign that professional contract and get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You got to recruit the kids that can come and develop, and maybe they're not there at that right certain point in time, but you got to find the right kids to recruit, and they're going to show up at your school. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, baseball is still one of those sports to me. When I went through Clemson in the late 70s with Coach Ford, I've talked to him about it. My commitment was to go play football at Clemson, not looking at the NFL. That's not today's kids, and that's not the way it is in basketball. But in baseball, if you go to college to play baseball, you're going there because you want to win a national championship.
That is correct. And so the other thing that a lot of people don't understand is you're not getting a full ride.
Right.
So I went and signed up to Clemson to go on books. They'd buy my books, and I left at 80%. And that's unusual. So typically what you're going to get out of baseball is a 25% scholarship, especially how they changed the rules. And so it's about, you got to manage these kids and start recruiting. And you got to be honest with them, man. The one thing that Sully, Corbs, even Jack said, you got to want it. Do you want to be a Clemson Tiger?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be a Clemson Tiger? That's it. And so you got to want to be there. And so, if you want to go play pro ball, that's for you. But if you want to go to Clemson, you got to want to be there. And they love that. They'll take the kid that wants to be there over the kid that might be a little bit better that doesn't know. So you got to want to be a Clemson Tiger. That's what they want to hear.
That's part of that culture he's talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the same thing at East Carolina. You see the same thing at other programs as well. They're not trying to get and because I think baseball's draft has changed the last couple of years since the pandemic.
And the reduction in minor league teams.
Yeah, the reduction in minor league teams. Not as many kids are getting drafted, so the kids have less of an option to jump to the pros or use it as leverage to go to the pros, that maybe they commit to college at least for 3 years.
Yeah, it's you got to want to be at Clemson. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
love that. They love it.
And you have to want to be in the college baseball environment. Because when you're there, when you're in college baseball, again, it's one of those that I think one of the sports out there that is still really fun to play at that level, to where some of the others, the football, the basketball, have changed. The atmosphere has changed.
Well, and you're right. So one thing's good, and I'm sure it's coming at some point, but there's no NIL in baseball yet. Or there might be, but not at Clemson, as far as I know. And so it's still an honest sport. I guess the NIL changes everything for football and basketball, but, shoot, there's not enough money in scholarships in baseball yet. I don't think, typically those guys can sign pro contracts if they really want to go.
Well, and that's right. They have another avenue if they want to get paid when they come out of high school. And I think that's why getting NIL money in college baseball will be very slow, because if you want to get paid, just go that route. We're not interested in doing that. Just go ahead and sign your pro contract. If you think you're worth money and that money's more important than what you're going to get from playing here, then you just go that route. Or that's the way I would approach it as a coach. So I don't think that I think it'll be a while before that would get to that level. And I don't think that the top programs will ever get to that level, because they still want to kind of do it, as you said, the old school way, the integrity side of it, and not have money get involved.
Well, and I hope it stays that way, man. I don't say I don't want to see, but when you're paying college athletes $1.5 million, that's kind of takes the game away from it, in my opinion.
That was not the way that I had envisioned it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will Boyd, thank you for joining us, and best of luck to our Tigers. And we look forward to having you on again.
Hey, man, anytime you want, and go Tigers, baby.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it, Will Boyd. I think baseball is one of those sports where the kids that go play college baseball, they go play it for the love of the game and not what does next year hold for
And
them.
all levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, at all. We've had Frank on before, Frank Pate, and same thing. You want to find kids that love to play the game.
No,
and not somebody looking for a paycheck down the road.
It makes a difference. What else you got on your sheet, sir? For Rembert. We used to know a guy named For Rembert.
You want to do on this day in sports?
We can. Just want to say, let me catch a couple of these. Let's see. Richie said, I was going to let Juju know that the last time Miami won a baseball championship, they were in the Big East or whatever conference they were in the late 80s and early 90s.
I think so.
And that sounds right. And Miami was independent for a long time.
Yeah, they were.
So I don't know. Well, they were in football. I'm assuming they were across the board. I don't know. Richie said there's some people down here wanting him to hire Leggett as his third base coach. Bob said Will is one of the top 3 baseball players ever out of Hickory High School.
Yeah, he is.
He's also the best JV football kicker of all time.
He was a pretty good middle school kicker, too.
Yeah. Richie said, interesting connection. Botchke, is that how you pronounce it? The baseball coach? Is that the way you pronounce his last name?
Bakich.
Coached at Maryland. John Sheff, who coaches Virginia Tech, coached at Maryland from 13 to 17 before taking over Virginia Tech. And now with NIL, just get that social media account up and get a deal. You only need a 25% scholarship. What you got, sir?
Oh, by the way, Will, career 300 hitter for Clemson.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And made one College World Series. I think all-time leading hitter at Hickory High, as Bob mentioned. On this day in sports history, let's go to 1990. Switch to NASCAR. Harry Gant became the oldest driver to ever win a NASCAR race.
Handsome Harry.
Yes, Winston Cup race. 1990, June 17th. 1976, speaking of the NBA and the ABA announced that they would merge to become one league.
Do you know where they left me when they merged?
They didn't left you.
Well, where I was not as excited.
Lost interest.
Yeah, when they didn't take the red, white, and blue ball.
Yeah,
loved going to watch the Carolina Cougars play at the Coliseum, and they played with the red, white, and blue ball.
Yeah, and those things were. I remember getting one of those for Christmas when I was playing. I was in junior high school at the time. We loved to use the red, white, and blue. I love the red, white, and blue ball. Whoever came up with that idea should have made a mint of money, but maybe didn't.
I got one for Christmas one time.
1960, Teddy Ballgame. Teddy Williams hit his 500th career home run. 1962, Brazil beat Czechoslovakia for the World Cup in soccer, and Pele, I think, was the star for Brazil.
Wow.
Now, 2008, speaking of the NBA championship, Celtics won the record 17th title back in 2008.
They didn't do it last night.
They beat the Lakers back then in 6 games. And let's see. OJ, 1994. Where were you during the chase of the white Bronco?
Not 19 when?
94.
94. I remember watching it. Yeah.
It was on a Friday night.
Yeah, I remember watching it.
Yeah, white Bronco. The chase that was televised on TV.
Yep.
It happened on this day, 25, 26, 27 years ago?
Yeah, that'd be right.
27.
28.
28 years
94?
ago. Yeah,
94,
yeah.
This is 22.
Yeah, 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. 28 years. And in 2012, Dale I think this is a misprint. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won his first NASCAR Winston Cup race. Won it at Michigan. He'd been on maybe it was his first race he had won in over 4 years.
Okay.
But anyway, he won on this day in 2012. He had snapped a streak of 4 years and 143 races.
Wow.
Dale Jr.
Let me give you a couple of passings. Remember Dick Hauser? Baseball shortstop. We lost him from brain cancer in 1987 at 51.
Florida State Yankees manager.
World Series 77-78. Yankees, Kansas City Royals 85. Major League Baseball All-Star in 61. And then in 1989, we lost John Matusak.
Oh, yeah.
Defensive end for the Raiders and 3 other teams. Accidental propofol overdose at 38. Did he not have some roid issues too? Or am I thinking about somebody else?
He probably did. It wasn't publicized like
Yeah.
Lyle Alzado.
Yeah, I'm
he had
thinking of
those issues.
Alzado. Yeah. And at the age of 78 in 1986, we lost the lady who was famous for God Bless America, Kate Smith.
Kate Smith.
Passed away in 86 at the age of 78. Let me give you a couple of birthdays. And how about Elroy Hirsch?
Crazy Legs.
Crazy Leg Hirsch, born on this day in 1923, passed away in 2004. Crazy Leg Hirsch.
University of Wisconsin Badger.
Bobby Bell, born on this day in Shelby.
Okay.
Famous middle linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs back in 1940. She's 82 years young.
Wow, number 78. With the high top and the high tops.
Yep, and his nephew was my roommate, the East-West guy, and then killed a guy with a butcher knife at his restaurant in Kansas City. I've never got over that. Sorry. I'm never getting on that. How about Davy Concepcion?
Great
born
shortstop.
on this day in 1948, back when the Reds were the Reds.
Yeah.
That was back in the Big Red Machine
Sure
days,
was.
wasn't it?
Sure
if
was.
I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Who else? Dan Jansen, American speed skater, was born on this day in 1965.
Was he from Charlotte?
He
Lived in
trained
Charlotte?
in Charlotte. He was from Wisconsin.
Okay.
But I think he had moved to Charlotte. Let's see if we got any else that jump out that gosh, I don't recognize it. Venus Williams, I forgot.
Okay.
She turns 42. Now, I think Serena has signed up to play in one of the upcoming tournaments, maybe Wimbledon. She went out last year with an injury.
She
has signed up to play. Did anybody watch the first day of the Open, the U.S. Open yesterday?
I did
Everybody
not.
was a little bit anxious on how Phil would be received, but received rather well after playing on the Live Tour. May missed the cut. He did not play well. Sergio did not play well. Another one that's playing on the Live Tour. And I think there may have been a couple others that were on there. Pretty good golf. I watched it late yesterday afternoon. Richie said Phil shot an 8 over. I think he needs to get really low today to make the cut. But it was nice to see him out there. Mm-hmm. It was good. Let me tell you the surprising person. If you follow golf, and I had to go look him up because I knew he was not a young man anymore. You know who golfer Jim Furyk is?
I heard of Jim Furyk,
Okay,
yes.
do you know who his caddy is?
No.
Mike Cowan, better known as Fluff. Mike Cowan caddied for Tiger some.
Yeah.
Fluff is 74 years old and still on the bag.
Wow.
74 years old and carrying the bag for Jim Furyk. I was like, gosh, this guy has been around forever. But, yeah, Fluff. Real name, Mike Cowan. Let's see if we've got some events for this day that you got most of them. But 1939, Don McNeil beat Bobby Riggs in the French Open. Bobby Riggs, best known for
beating Billie Jean King.
The Battle of the Sexes.
Yeah, he was the
Battle
hustler.
of the Sexes. Do you remember that?
I do.
remember that.
Yeah,
Yep,
it was on televised on ABC.
And you did Ted Williams.
Teddy Ballgame.
500. 1962, Jack won his first major title by 3 strokes in an 18-hole playoff with the legend Arnold Palmer. 1962. That's kind of amazing.
You know, athletes back then, they either had a nickname or they were given like one name.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said Jack, you said Arnie or Arnie's Army.
And Jack was the Golden Bear.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Golden Bear. They had nicknames.
Yep.
Don't have nicknames now in sports as much.
Nobody cares. 1962, Chicago Cub Lou Brock became is second to home run into the right field center bleachers at the Polo Grounds. There is no Polo Grounds now, is there?
Oh, no.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's probably an apartment complex.
An apartment complex.
Oh, no, actually it's I used to be, I guess, where the New York Mets had their old Shea Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in that area.
And they played football at the Polo Grounds, too.
Sure did.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
The football giants.
The football giants played there.
1988, I still deny this report. Robin Givens' family reports that Mike Tyson beat his wife, Robin Givens. I say if Mike Tyson had beat Robin Givens, you would know it. Nothing ever really showed up. 1992, Philadelphia 76ers trade Chuck to the Phoenix Suns. And you got the juice. 2003 is when Moneyball
came out. Really? 18 years ago.
A
19
book
years ago.
About the 2003 Oakland Athletic Baseball team and GM Billy Beane's approach to baseball, inspired by Bill James, is published in 2003. I didn't realize it was that old.
No, I'm thinking of the movie. The movie came out probably 10 years later.
2007, speaking of Jim Furyk, in the U.S. Open, Angel Cabrera wins his first major title, one stroke ahead of Jim Furyk and Tiger Woods. Let's see. I will sideline just for 1 second as we're getting ready to go. I've got a show that I like to watch on, I think it's either on the Smithsonian Channel or National Geographic. It's called Air Disasters. And it's famous crashes where the Transportation Board goes back and tries to rebuild the black box, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting to watch them, how they methodically go through, even to the point of taking the cockpit recorder with all the sounds going on in the cockpit and trying to match it up with what a normal engine sounds like to see, kind of what happened. But one of those that they did was the Kobe helicopter crash.
Okay, and it's recent, right? A couple of 3 years.
Yes, and it showed the path and the ceiling, and they determined that where the pilot made his mistake, and he had like 8,000 flights or something, I don't know, but where he made his mistake when he got in the fog is he had been flying the interstate, and I can't remember, Interstate 4 or something. That's how he was getting where he was going to. And the fog had lowered, and the ceiling was at such a level, and when he got into a bank of fog, he's trying to see, and there's a thing, and I don't know what it's called, where your mind and your eyes kind of play tricks with you. He never checked his instruments, and that's how he basically curved and flew it into the ground, because he thought he was going straight. Had he just looked at his horizon, gauge, he would have known. But he was trying to look out the windows and see stuff. He was single pilot, and that's how they determined how the crash occurred, because he was not using his instruments, and the fog had dropped, the ceiling had dropped, and he thought he was going up to get above the fog, and wasn't.
Lost his sense of direction.
And there's a name for that. They call it that. That's a great show. Great show. Rich said, hope no one's planning on going to Yellowstone. Yeah, it's kind of rough out there right now. There's some local folks here, Randy and Renee Mundy. They spend a lot of time out there, and she sent back some pictures and stuff. They work out there in the summer, a couple of months. And, yeah, Matusak played Ogre. No, that wasn't Ogre. That was a different guy. Looked like Matusak was on
he's played in a couple of movies.
And some TV shows.
Yes.
I can't remember what they were. All right, we got to get out of here. The boys will be here at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're back on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy early Father's Day to everyone. And we'll see you again on Monday. Have a good one, folks.